false dawn is random. When it comes, they rise. Just be near when it comes. Don't be afraid of the twilight. So weird to do this without headphones. Hey guys, hello Philip, BGs, thank you for being here. Yeah, I think there's a couple of things I wanted to do. Also, you know, the advent of just feeling the urge to live stream and just hitting it. But now with the declaration that I will just keep this public, no matter how goofy I come off as, or, you know, what terrible things spill out of my mouth, I will keep this in the public view. And if some of you are tuning in and not understanding the inside joke, it's because I did a live stream, I guess it was a few days ago. I don't even recall. I was in like such a hypnagogic state where I decided to talk shit about some article that really isn't that, I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way, but there was a lot of just uncouth, unrehearsed, absolutely off the cuff, goofy anger coming out, and I thought I would list it again for a second there tonight. I publicized it, and then I made the poor choice of watching some of it and realized that I couldn't do it anymore. So it's unlisted again. If you're one of the lucky few who saw me in that state, then I'm sure you understand why. But anyways, it was 2 days ago. Oh shit! Oh my god, life is a dream. Yeah, BG's Philip, thank you for being here. I obviously have no expectations about who will show up, and I'm always absolutely pleasantly surprised that people do. I'm sick of trying to rectify like a time slot, or, you know, kind of work around my schedule and kind of fit in a lot of my UK friends, you know, my Scottish brethren, my Florida brethren, my Georgia, Louisiana, you know, German, Scandinavian brethren that I find myself obsessing over about time slots and when to stream. And it is always just a massacre of, you know, intention and pretense. And there's a lot of hollowing out of what I want to talk about because there's so much preparation into time slots and trying to get everyone involved. So yes, it's absolutely hard to please everyone as far as time zones go. So I just have to be cool with the fact that, you know, people that I wish to see this, people that I'm speaking to other than you guys, you know, we'll see it when they do, if they do. And with that said, I think that I wanted to just address a few things. BGs, you know, you've obviously seen the oh yeah, no, you're in South Australia. God, did I not mention Australia? That was like, that should have been like the pinnacle of time zonage for me. That's amazing. And Philip, I think you're in the Pacific Northwest, if I'm not mistaken, because, you know, I just moved from Portland. I think we talked about Washington, not to put you on blast or dox you or anything, but that makes sense. But anyways, live streaming in itself is like it's a medium that takes a lot of, I don't know, gusto, rehearsal, practice, in a sense of not actually doing the live stream, but kind of getting in a meditative mood about being free to talk and spill and, slip the tongue a bit, goof a bit, as I like to use. So I'm going to incessantly use the word goof because that has been my life the past week. I'm in mountain time, so I'm an hour ahead of you, Philip. But yeah, no, live streaming, I'm still not used to it. And I think it it puts on blast a lot of social anxiety I have. I treat it as I would if I was playing a show. Um, a lot of times. Not tonight. That's what I'm gonna try to get to. But I treat it as if there's a lot of social anxiety with it. I would heavily drink, or I would heavily, loosen the jowls a bit with sauce and supplement, and allow that to kind of, free the bones to kind of rattle a bit. And more often than not, it just comes off just insincere to who I'm aiming to corner as like what I want to be when I grow up. Like it's absolutely antithetical to the progress I hope to be making, I want to be making, because with it came like a whole new slew of like birthed anxieties that took me a while to figure out that it really is. It's like being on stage, and especially if you book these things, you have a time slot, you get prepared, it's meditative and all that. Like it really is a performance, and I hate to use the word performance like that. To me, that's not what I want a live stream to be. To me, what I want a live stream to be is just you know a honest, like sloppy kind of spillage, but not as sloppy as 2 days ago. um yeah, and Philip, we've talked long and hard about our, how do I put this, our diagnoses. And I think there's something to be said, and I'm still dealing with it. I uh i took a few weeks off. I took close to 3 weeks off, and I didn't drink, and I swear to God, it felt like smiting a demon. And there was something so empowering about, that's the demon that I don't need to consort with and don't commune with, and I'll be okay. And that was empowering enough. But um, mental health and stresses and the weight of the world, all of this, if you're not like really involved in, you know, uh, binding or banishing this demon, like it'll seep back. It'll trick you back. And the other night, yeah, I was half asleep when I was reading that article, but I was half asleep because I was, you know, half drunk. And it's really hard for me to watch myself in that state, even though there are some funny nuggets. And I do um I do support every coherent point that I made in that stream. It's not like I was a different person, more of just like a sketch of a person, a crude sketch, like a charcoal sketch, an outline, a figure drawing of the kind of energy I want to put out into these things. And yes, I think with my understanding of what a live stream is, I think it's humbling and honest to keep it public and have it out there, and the digital detritus that is forever, which is the internet. Um, but it's also like looking at, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, sorry. That would be hilarious. Like my entire life is antithetical. I'm always running from Dr. Jekyll. I'm born Mr. Hyde. There's something to be said there. Um, and it's just it's harrowing to see like evidence of something I'm battling against seep through and allow me to be, God, sloppy and goofy. I told you I'm gonna use the word goofy a lot. Like goofy, you know. Especially now when, back in the day I've had my trials and tribulations with substances and yeah, we'll just say substances. And the reasons why I use them are mutated, completely different than the reasons why they enter my life now. And it's a very strange observation to not hit a dark, a dark trajectory so much. It's a strange observation to understand that, like, the drinking or the, I don't know, whatever has been jovial and not, filling that quote unquote God shaped hole, or like, helping me mute trauma or, you know, terrible dreams. There's not really a reason to medicate like I used to. And yet, it seeps in and it mutates, and there's now a new reason. And the thing is, it's like, I don't need a reason, right? Um, I think I don't want to use the term neurodivergent because I hate it when people fucking talk about how, they're on the spectrum, or it's like so vogue to act like, I'm strange because I'm autistic or whatever, diagnosis aside or whatever. But there is something divergent about uh, not feeling, or like not feeling motivated or comfortable to be in a public sphere, to be, live streaming or, hosting things, to be so, how do I put it? Like, ceremonial, you know what I mean? As an instigator, um, without the use of those things, because they mute so much of the, the self immolation, the self flatulation. Um, and I think that's where I'm at right now. And I just wanted to have like a real honest Vex. I'm going to keep this public. I'm going to keep this as a whipping post in a way. So whatever comes out of my mouth, I'm just going to deal with it, and people are going to see it. And that's what it is. I'm not going to hide behind unlisting. I make decisions to live stream from now on. I make decisions to, release art, to put out records, to write, articles, to do all these creative endeavors. Like, what's the difference? Let's just lay it on the line. Like, all of it is inherently embarrassing. All of it is very gutting and vulnerable. But there's this weird disconnect where I'm not hiding behind a guitar or effects, or, hosting an interview, or I'm not, doing some artistic video. It's like we're always hiding behind all these shades of aestheticism and accompaniment. And, that's why I've revered stand-up comedy for so long. Like, to have the ability to, you know, to touch people, to flick their heart bones, with just your voice and words that come out of your mouth. Like, that's something I want to be dexterous about. That's something I want to be honest about. And it's scary. It's worrisome. So welcome to my new therapy session, which is completely random live streams. If I feel an itch or need to consort with the digital ether or these beautiful people that are in my chat, well, I've got to check it out. Um, I should just do it. like, let's stop the pomp and circumstance of scheduling and editing, you know, of post production, of even like supreme intent. I think I'm at that place in my spiritual practice right now too, or in my magical praxis. You know, was always riddled with, like, you know, just heavy focused intention. And now there's a part of me that wants to kind of, you know, pop the lid a little bit, allow the chaos in a little more, kind of dance with it and be weird with it, instead of just trying to conform it. Because I don't know, the the neuro energy I have these past months is absolutely part and parcel to needing to dance macabre with, you know, chaos, and to feel good being vulnerable or embarrassed. Um, yeah, any dead silence, I'm just going to look at the chat and read it. I can't believe you guys are in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. I always say that. I'm always really surprised. Like, it's really incredible. You know, just to randomly post a YouTube live stream and have Philip Blair, Oswald Spengler, beautifully, my good and dear friends Stevie, Stephen Ray, Bee Gees, who I absolutely adore. I can't believe I didn't pick up that you were in Southern Australia, Bee Gees. Like, you are a fucking rock and roller. Like, talk about extreme time zones, right? You walk on the opposite of me. You're in the Naga Desert of my Southwestern American desert. It's amazing. And it's very similar in a lot of ways. Let's see. So I'm going to go up a little bit. I didn't know there was leftist Iranian philosophy of demons. Wait, I missed that one. Oswald Spengler, here we go. This is where it originated. I've been listening to leftist Iranian philosophers' streams on demons. Oswald, I don't know if you know of a YouTube channel. I fall asleep to it pretty much every night, or at least anytime they release a video. And they're magnificent, especially just to drift off into sleep if you can. But it's called Mysterious Middle East. And it's this gorgeously produced, thoroughly knowledgeable, brilliant, auditory adventure within, like, really harrowing, haunting, beautifully, creative folklores and ideas, and, you know, the etymology almost of, like, of magic and folklore, because it's the Middle East and that shit's beautiful. But yeah, you should check that out, Oswald. If you can send me the Iranian leftist I will do a Sebado cover. There's a song called Spoiled. It's off the Kids soundtrack, which is like one of my favorite scores of all time. Blue Barlow, Folk Implosion did, the Kids soundtrack, which Kids the film, if I ever have kids, when they start hitting puberty, I'm going to show them that movie. I think it's like the greatest movie, the realest movie to help you abstain from from uh, from loose dickin', as I'll put it. But yeah, so Lou Barlow is a huge hero of mine. I met him when I was really young. I actually saw the Melvins and Folk Implosion, same show, touring together when I was 13. I was so young. I was wearing a Batman t-shirt. I had a mixtape when I was 9 from a cousin in Virginia. And on that mixtape was Folk Implosion's Natural One, which is a track from the Kids soundtrack, and the Melvins. And it opened up my eyes. And it was one of these kismet experiences where, you know, I was going to see the Melvins and had no idea Folk Implosion was opening up. And they couldn't be more disparate as acts. And I talked to Buzz Osborne, the main guy from the Melvins, who was so sweet. It was a 13-year-old little snot-nosed asshole just plaguing him with questions and knowledge, about, my knowledge of their music, and my surprise that they're playing with folk implosion. I thought that was the coolest thing. Like, when you're young and as a musician, you think like you you play shows with like sounding kind of artists, and that was my first exposure to like, no, you never go by aesthetics when you're creating a show with bands. You always go by, like emotive, valleys and mountains with, you know, across the board sonically. And so I met both Lou Barlow and Buzz Osborne. Uh, yeah, I love Lou Barlow. He's actually the one artist that I think really changed my shit as a young kid, recording music, especially those Sebadoh records, Centradoh, recording on 4 tracks in bathrooms. And to hear honesty, here we are. This is a good loop. To hear honesty and vulnerability and the most ramshackle, kind of underproduced, you know, uh, junk fashion of poor kids getting what they can and just spilling onto tape stuff. Uh, that was Lou Barlow and Centradoh and Sebadoh and all that. And yeah, uh, still a big fan. He hits me in the heart feels for sure. But that's part and parcel, I think, to where I'm taking maybe the overarching idea of this liminal stream is more of a declaration that I need to go back to the roots of vulnerability. Um, I need to stay away from the obsessive overproduction, the obsessive intention, and every minutia and machination being overproduced. And remember that these intentions and minutia of every artistic, project can still exist in lo-fi, can still exist in, just sheer vulnerability. But I love that you guys, are talking about Lou Barlow. Yeah, Barlow is doing a stream tomorrow. I mean, pretty much I should just retitle this like Lou Barlow's awesome. Please listen to Sebadoh, Folk Implosion, Centradoh, and early Dinosaur Jr. Maybe newer Dinosaur Jr. because he kind of rejoined. But he was just the bassist, Dinosaur Jr. is cool. I dig him, but big fan of Lou Barlow. Yeah, so I think, I don't know the algorithm for feeling sustainable or for feeling vexed, not accomplished, but like servicing a muse when it comes to this medium so much. And it's like really like it's a hard enigma for me, and just kind of my brain chemistry wrapping around how it's purely like a social interpersonal dialogue to a machine. And hopefully people in chats, but I've been talking deeply, to go back to the last stream I did where I was half drunk, half asleep, incensed on Instagram empaths. I've been talking to really good friends, Derek Hunter, Braun, uh, a number of people, and it was that stream. And before that, what did I do? I did something else where it warranted that I should be. Yeah, I think it was just more of this. But people are saying, my good friends, people I trust, and maybe I shouldn't trust them because they're being too nice or something. But they're giving me and a hitherto unknown kind of want to write a book about what I'm calling divergent magic. And by divergent magic, it's kind of a play on both, anarchic magic, but also, like a mental health divergent, neurodivergent magic. And kind of just give a long form testimonial about, my struggles, obviously, with that confluence, but also like what I feel like we need to explore more. Oh yeah, I did do uh, a stream. Oh, it was the Mitch Horowitz one. Wow, I don't even remember my stuff. But it's from those things that, good friends are telling me that for the first time, like they're kind of jurisdicting an obvious like project or thorough vexing of what I'm going through. And I'm deeply considering taking 2 months off, which I kind of already am. Obviously, of the podcast, I still got to finish the We the Hollowed audio sigil, which is still being worked on. I haven't been neglecting. It keeps getting weirder. It's great. But all these other random projects I have, and maybe just kind of whittling the focus to drafting what a lot of these streams and these incessant needs to express or get incensed by or passionate about. And yeah, just write them down. Obviously, I feel like an imposter. I think that the world doesn't need another fucking magic book. Um, so it wouldn't be like a grimoire or a how-to or anything. It would obviously have to be something more testimonial, but I think I'm growing out of what is kind of nomenclature. I'm breaching past what I need to discover and experience as a recovering addict, as someone who struggles with mental health, as someone who's passionate and productive with creativity, and as a practitioner of metaphysical ideas. And I think I'm hitting a wall, not finding something that is, really conveying what those confluences are being. And it'll probably just be like a fucking free ebook on Kindle or whatever. But I for the first time I'm being proposed a project I should do, and it's weird. It's like for the first time I'm not in my head with this intention. It's multiple people have brought it up separately, like, hey, you should do this, you should write this. And it's hilarious to me because I'm like, oh God, put it on the list, man. I don't think I'll ever get to it. No one wants to read that. No one wants to hear my shit. But I think if anything, just for me, I'm really toying with the fact of trying to focus, you know, or stack projects in a way, because right now it's a smorgasbord. You should see my desk. It's just stacks of paper, notebooks, projects, guitar picks, looking beat machines, like uh, pens everywhere, Sharpies. It's madness. And I still haven't found a thoroughfare in how to, I'll put it this way, I haven't found a thoroughfare of what needs to be tended to now. I've always just kind of shot from the hip, you know. Uh, all the PRAGMAGICK interviews are, everyone was literally somebody that I was admiring at the time and wanted to talk to. And I thought, you know, uh, it could be a platform to help promote them because I really enjoyed them at that time. So the lack of PRAGMAGICK, interviews isn't because, I haven't gotten around to it. It's because I'm just, focusing on different things, I suppose, or no one's really hit me in the solar plexus with that stuff yet. So it's always been very internal. Should look at the comment section. Hey Una, how you doing? Yes, please check out Mysterious Middle East. If anything, you know, take it, as you will. They're just beautiful and haunting, stories and diatribes about, jinn and, the folkloric kind of early Islamic, tales. And it's so beautiful to sleep to, or like to pass around. Philip Blair, Anton LaVey and the Church of Satan with Carl Abrahamson. Here's the title of that interview on New Thinking Aloud. Well, Philip Blair, I have 2 interviews with Carl Abrahamson on my channel. And the last one was focused around his documentary about Anton LaVey. So, you should check that out. I was on some stream earlier, and a person that I knew on Twitter was like, "Oh, I didn't know you had a podcast." God, I'm terrible at this. Absolutely terrible at this. But yeah, I just so much racing on the mind. For better or for worse, I'm just gonna release this. I've been rambling forever. I don't even know if there was anything coherent. There was a sinew of what to do next. Yes, so I might be buckling down and writing about my take on magic, which sounds so dumb. Like, I really subscribe to the fact that, like, beforehand I was like, I won't write about magic. No one needs another fucking magic book, until, like, I'm over 40 or something, or I'll hit some threshold when I'm like, I can do it. And of course now I'm considering it, but it's not going to be like a grimoire. It's not going to be a how-to. It's not going to be a Medium article about empaths. It's I would even I don't even know what it is yet. Honestly, I'm already overthinking it, but I feel bad about not tending to the Patreon, kind of letting PRAGMAGICK seldom kind of updated. We the Hollowed is seldom updated. I haven't released a record in a couple of years, even though I've got so much material in the process of doing it. Working so much and having the stress of not having the time to tend to all these things, which I'm not complaining. I'm definitely in that phase where I'm not rebellious against, making money. I understand its necessity for future comfort. So it's a hard lesson to learn, but man, the Ouroboros of feeling shitty for not tending to all these, projects, and then getting depressed for not tending to all these projects. It's just hilarious. Snake eating its tail, But I really want to, keep centered in the sense of I've got to continuously look for that nugget in people and in social environments and names on the screen. I've got to continuously mine this, like, adaptation into not resolving to being loose and weird and awkward as I usually am in social settings on this. So when I look at other people that are are really, pushing their podcasts and really like working the game and putting out stuff, I have to remember that that's like, this is just me. The whole point was, kind of an insight into some like ramshackle hard luck idiot that's trying to be a better person. And so it was always going to be to the whims of whatever interested me. It was never about entertaining anybody else, really, you know, just me. But yeah, I'm at this weird stalemate right now. I'm not entirely sure uh, what's going to happen in 5 months, just as I'm sure most of you are unsure. Um, I I'm kind of lost in this tumble of, being, like I said, shooting from the hip, or being on the edge of my seat with the somatic reality outside of creative shit. Because honestly, anytime I create, it's not anything else. It's you know what I mean? Like it's not the same reality in that sense. And so being stuck, kind of like a lawnmower man in a fucking digital universe of, adulting, or or trying to, really eschew, what's not working, or trying to, curb uh, darkness coming in, or heavies or lows or mania it's been tough. It's been really tough, as I'm sure all of you have incredible struggles as well. Um, and I'm not saying that, I'm anything special. I just want to be open and honest about, the fallibility of being in the metaphysical media environment. Um, and that, anyone with a square jaw and a thick briefcase telling you, how to get right with your God is ridiculous. I'm gonna check out the chat. Let's see. Yeah, I can relate. I often question the whether or not the world needs to hear my voice. Oh God, every day. But then I look around me and see that all of our voices weave the fabric. Yeah, yes, worrying about not creating blocks creativity. Yes, yeah. So uh, Stevie was talking about that Ouroboros, but yeah, Uno. I guess okay. You brought up a really good point. Um, if I start considering, my place in the world creatively, or my place in the world as like as a vocal proponent for anything, or as a voice or an idea, even uh, to be malleable and to be, you know, uh, to inspire or something, I shudder and I crawl under the desk and I wait for a nuclear holocaust because that's what gets me. I can't think about that. I've just gotta do the rough and tumble and just kind of get through it because, you know, um, and be honest about, like, this is kind of for me. Like, this is a therapy session. You know, I have my dear friends in my chat in this completely last minute live stream. You know, but this is a vent. This is a vex. This is an EX-HEX. This is a way to just spill or be killed. And like, let's just call it what it is. I'm not. My crusade isn't to, you know, uh, dismantle, the elite, or uncover conspiracies, or you know uh, rag on obvious charlatans, or like I have no crusade like that. And I'm going to be completely honest, like, I'm completely internal now, right now. At least I'm completely internal. Like, I don't know how to converse or commune with the world around me, because I'm still figuring out how to be the ghost in my own fucking body, you know? And like, I just want to be honest about that. And I think a lot of people are that, but pervade the other. And, not to name names or anything, but like, I don't have like a prime example in my head. But I think that's what's lacking. I think people need to be more fucking fluid about how they got to rectify, you know, or bind, commune, demons, and instead of trying to rid the world of darkness. It's like I don't know what's the old joke. It's you know, act locally, think globally. I think it's the reverse, but I attuned it to my own idea. I'm gonna keep looking. The chat had to mention the article. Reach out to the ghost of Austin Osman Sparrow. Yeah, death posture every time. The pandemic has made the podcast game and kick into overdrive. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I just feel like this. I'm gonna be real with you right now. I gotta take. I don't listen to occult podcasts. Of course, I listen to Stevie and my friends, because I know, or I think I understand their intentions in the heart of what they're asking, but I can't do it. Like, I really don't care about occult podcasting. I don't care about it. I don't know, flooding my brain with more of the same fucking shit every damn episode. um and that's not on them. I appreciate the hustle. I dig it. um but podcasts in general, yeah, I just feel like maybe there's an overload of just content, and my nature just feels like, maybe it's time to just buckle in and work on my insides. uh, you're looking younger, in my honest opinion. Perhaps your timelines are reversing. Well, time is slowing, or so many others. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I definitely don't feel younger. Yeah, it's just like curse of baby face. I don't know. Creativity is hard. Straight up. I'm not very creative. I'm easily distracted. I mean, BG's, yeah, dude. I think, creativity is my ultimate distraction. It's my ultimate escape. But at the same time, it's like the only way I attune, to the polarities of the somatic reality and try to converse with other people, because obviously I'm really bad at this. So, hiding behind a narrative or a song or whatever has always been my way of, you know, like my declarations. Stevie says Scotland is almost out of lockdown. Pubs and shops are open. Everyone wears masks, which is good to see. Yeah, I imagine we're gonna get locked down soon here in Colorado again. Everywhere around us, America's just getting worse, according to you know the statistics. But Colorado seems to be just on the steady incline up, and yeah, I kind of foresee they're starting to tight regulations again. We're like going in reverse, probably close shit down. I had to step back from the venue a bit. Like, I'll still book there and maybe cover a shift bartending here and there. And a lot of that was because there's an atmosphere and there's a readiness for debauchery, in these things. And I had to take like a really measured meditation about, wanting to be situated with that again. And this venue, even with all the COVID shit, was like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a feasible um, trajectory right now. Like, it seems kind of pointless, to do a live music venue with everything still up in the air. But I digress. Let's see. Indeed, folks are activating their hustle game because they are endeavoring to create more avenues to pay bills. Yeah, I mean, I basically got, uh, you know, pushed out of my freelancing game because suddenly everyone became a freelancer when the pandemic started, and I think the world is going to move that way. I think more things are going to be remote, and there's something sad about that in the sense that there's more opportunity to wallow and hole up and create an insular lifestyle that way. I think there's something to be said about having a place to go to, I've always wanted an office just to go write or make music. We have rehearsal space and stuff like that. Even still, that is motivating. But the intention of getting on your feet and going somewhere and coming back and having that surveyed as, an accomplishment each time it's done, rather than rolling out of bed onto my fucking guitar and spitting something on the tape and then rolling back, and eating that day old pizza kind of thing. I don't know. There's just more, meditation and accuracy almost. So you have the ability to leave. I don't think we're, cave dwelling, uh, a cave dwelling species anymore. As a matter of motherfucking fact, pretty sure we evolved out of that shit. And I think we're kind of devolving back into this insular space. And, working with kids, especially with this pandemic, and seeing them be so alien to nature and to outdoors and rewarded with like iPad use, and had never, built forts before or fished or carved or shot archery. As that's scary to me. And I think the pandemic or whatever this is right now, I think that's the true harm it's doing, is that kids in impressionable, frontal lobe maturing states are going to be blue screened, blue lighted more than they should be. They should be fucking running around. They should be, hiding their porn in the woods instead of deleting their history, you know. Um, let's see. Are you following the current Portland Seattle shit, Keats? Alex Ballin of the Alex Cast updated me today on some crazy shit. Yeah, it sounds insane. I Like I said, I'm so insular in the idea of my own bullshit or dealing with, Colorado weather every day that it's hard for me to keep up with Portland. But yeah, from what I've heard, it just sounds insane. Sounds intense. Uh, let's see. Readiness for debauchery sounds like those orgies in the mid 1300s during the Black Death. Yep. Yep. No, Philip. That's I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly the environment that the bar was, you know, meddling in. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Someone mentioned Portland in the last show. What's going on? I couldn't tell you, and I don't want to. There's like heavy protests. There's violent protests, but that's all I'll say. I don't want to speak more about it because I really don't know. Let's start a Pogues cover band. As long as I get to be Shane McGowan. But then again, I really need to curb the drinking, so that's probably a bad idea. Um, I think what you do with your job with kids is needed, Keats. I worry that this pandemic will will do to kids moving forward. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, BGs. I think it is important. But at the same time, the regulations and the shit we have to go through, the rigmarole, like, I'm surprised it's allowed. Like, I think kids finishing school on their laptops, you know, before summer, really ingrained in them the like freedom and ability just to hang at home and do shit on their own time. So yeah, it's a rough state of affairs, and I really wonder what the current will be with this generation, especially if it lasts longer. Because if this is a new norm, if education is going to be virtual only, then yeah, we're fucked. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really have an AI boner. My dad's a transhumanist. I don't get it. I don't want to live longer, uh, in the sense that I don't want to impart my consciousness to the singularity. Like I want this to be a finite, individualistic reality, and I want it. I think I'm pushing more towards nature. Like, I'm always struggling with artificial intelligence and with, computers, and it's always important to me to, like, get back, to the earth and to the natural world. But I feel outvoted in a generational sense. Keep your teeth. I will. Um, let's see. Well, deep down inside, I always long desired a home office. My wishes came true. I mean, I was freelancing for years before the pandemic happened, and uh, I was doing also a bunch of other jobs, getting out and stuff. Home office is the way to go for creative stuff. I kind of have one now in our place currently, but I really desired the the travel. Like, I used to walk to work no matter how many miles, be hours of walking every day, and I loved it. It's how I meditated. It's how I kept in tune. This like sedentary kind of atrophied existence of mulling around, you know, a homestead all day is, yeah. It's just I don't think it's part and parcel to what a human experience should be all the time. You know, I work in a public library. We are mandatory reporters. I help a lot of kids that are low socioeconomic. Oh, awesome! Life's tough enough for 'em, let alone with restrictions on coming to the library as a safe place for. I absolutely adore that you worked with disadvantaged or low socioeconomic kids, at risk kids or at risk youth, or I was essentially one, and I absolutely appreciate and adore the library system or public school. I really do care about public schooling. There needs a lot of reform. It could be better, but I adore these social systems in America. Um, but I really appreciate anyone that works with, kids that are undervalued, underparented. You know, local leaders react to acting Secretary of Homeland Security visit to Portland. Yep, Portland's a shit show right now. I endeavor to walk through the 8 kilometers. Oh, you do kilometers, huh? Oh, that's right. You're fluent in metric, Una. Portland is a beautiful place to walk. Yeah, it really was. I miss it. I really do. In that sense, just the natural kind of ghostly, um, kind of haunting, dripping forest that it was. It was so lush. And here I'm back in a desert in a way, you know. Um, Cruella DeVos, yeah, is the enemy of public. She absolutely is. She's the worst, man. The whole cabinet's the worst. I don't really want to get into it. I don't want. It's so bad. Um, yeah, Please don't set me on this path, Oswald. I don't want to talk about Betsy DeVos. But I've probably been. Oh, I got downvoted. That's good. That's always fun. I love you guys. I think I'm gonna get off. I've been rambling forever. How long has this been going? Probably too long. Yeah, Grim was shot in Portland for sure. I really appreciate you guys. Una, BG's, Philip, Sarath, Oswald. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, thanks for being part of my surprise vexing liminal stream. Hopefully I configured, some focus or thoughts about what is coming up, what I should do. I think more so it was just about where I'm at, but I'll keep going. And yeah, who knows? Probably drop another one in a couple days. Yeah, love you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you stopping by. And yeah, here's to the future. Haunt on.